I'm a comedian. There was nothing in my mind. There was nothing funny about that video. I just felt like posting it. And when I grabbed my phone to take it down, I think it had something like 100,000 views at the time. And this was, like I said, before I even had a following. And I was like, wait, what? And then I looked again and it had like 300,000 views. And then other people, especially my hardcore Italians, they reposted it and it went wild. Okay, stay true to yourself. Stay true to who you are, where you came from. Cawfee Talk. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Cawfee Talk with Tara Cannistraci. I know a lot of you follow me as Tara Jokes. I got out of the car the other day in the West Village on 7th Avenue, and I started walking and some woman screamed, "Oh my God, are you Tara Jokes?" And I'm like, well, I'm Tara Cannistraci, but yes, I thought it would be too hard for you guys to find me on social media as Tara Cannistraci, so I made it Tara Jokes. Fun fact that nobody knows, my middle name was Joe for Josephine, my mother's maternal grandmother. So kind of all I really did was add the KES to the JO for jokes. Anyway, little fun fact that nobody cares about on a Monday morning because we all have things to do. Hope you got your cup of coffee in hand. If it's not coffee and it's tea, if it's water, if it's wine, I don't judge here. Do what you got to do for you. I wanted to talk to you guys. I had an idea to start this podcast, and then my editor was asking me, my producer of the podcast asked me a question, and I realized that I got the majority of my fan base, most of you listening to this, because I started the words and phrases that I heard, the Italian American words I heard growing up in a New York neighborhood. And so funny, I got my Vaffangulo mug with me from Hardcore Italian. So if any of you know what that means, it means have a nice day in Italian. It doesn't mean that. It means go fuck yourself, but I don't know if I could say that on the podcast. And so I have that mug. I love it. I'm not feeling aggressive this morning, but I think it's a great mug. And it was so perfect when she asked me, about why I even started the Italian words. And I wanted to talk about it on this podcast because it does have a deeper meaning. So I want you guys to listen. 2 years ago, maybe, I had no following. I knew none of you listening to this right now. And I was sitting on my couch and I got a text message from our friend's mom. And she texted me to let me know that her brother was in Calvary Hospital, which is kind of like the beginning of the end for someone's life. And she said, my brother's in Calvary and I just wanted to let you guys know. And I thought that's the kind of text message I don't want to text her back. I wanted to pick up the phone. I wanted her to hear my voice. So I called her and she was very upset. And she said, "Oh, Tara, he looks like a skinny blink." And when she said that, it kind of triggered something in me, like a memory. It, jogged my memory of all the words and phrases I heard growing up. And speaking to her in that sad time, it made me even more sentimental about it. And I realized that these words and phrases that we heard growing up that you guys may relate to, or you may have your own words and phrases from your own nationality, but it made me realize that those words and phrases almost had like an expiration date on them. And that made me really sad. Like the people that use those terms are either no longer with us or are getting older. And I grabbed my phone just kind of in a weak moment and was just like, oh, these are words and phrases I remember hearing growing up in a New York Italian neighborhood. And I maybe spewed off like 10 or 15 words, whatever words came to mind. It was like mamadel, face brut, school bus, mapin. I don't remember what was in that first one, but a whole bunch of words. Zoccola, putana, not all good ones. Piscirio. And I remember just running off the names and then kind of writing down the meanings of what I remembered them to be and posting it. And I thought nothing of it. I did not have a big following at the time. In fact, my husband came home like an hour or two later, and I remember I said to him, "Did you see that video I posted, with the Italian words and phrases that I heard growing up in my New York Italian neighborhood?" And he said, "Yeah." I go, "Is it stupid?" And he goes, "Yeah." I said, oh my God, let me take it down. I'm a comedian. There was nothing in my mind. There was nothing funny about that video. I just felt like posting it. And when I grabbed my phone to take it down, I think it had something like 100,000 views at the time. And this is, like I said, before I even had a following. And I was like, wait, what? And then I looked again and had like 300,000 views. And then other people, especially my Hardcore Italians fan page, they reposted it and it went wild. And I was like, what's happening? And people were like, I remember being, you're going to find this funny. I remember being annoyed at the positive comments, which is, now I live for them. But because they were saying things like, oh my God, hilarious. And I was like, there's nothing funny about this video. This isn't my comedy. I had posted so many videos before it that I thought were so funny that I thought you guys were going to love them. I was going to get this big following from showing you how funny I was, and those videos went nowhere. And here I am grabbing my phone being like, Stu nods, Stu gots, ooh bots, and people were losing their minds. And I could not get it. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I did not get it. And the video did so well, I said, I guess I'm going to have to do a second one of these. And I remember thinking, oh my God, this is so cringe. I don't want to do this. This isn't comedy. This isn't funny to me. I want to be a respectable comedian, whatever that is these days. And I grabbed the phone. I actually called my mother-in-law. I was like, what are some words? Give me some more words. I was, reaching at that point. And I did the second video, and I remember being like, ugh, I didn't want to even post it. I did the second video. I posted it, and just like the first one, it took off. And I said, oh my God, am I going to have to keep doing these videos? It was like the bane of my existence. I really hated it. So I started writing the third series of words. And I think it was at that time, I'm going to say her name. I'll say her first name. This woman, Diane, had reached out to me. And she said, hi, my mother is 90 years old and she has, dementia. And we've tried a lot of things to jog her memory. I think I used to do it with my grandmother. I used to play music from back in her time, or I would show her pictures. And Diane was telling me how they tried so many things with her mother's memory. But for some reason, when she played my videos, her mother was able to tell her the meaning of the words that I was singing. And then it meant so much to her. And I was like, hysterical crying. I remember reading this message and being like, I will do these videos for however long I could do these videos. And it was in that moment I realized it wasn't that these videos were hilarious or funny, but that they were nostalgic and they were relatable. And I was finding a road to connect with you guys. And they were maybe words and phrases of family members you no longer had. And that's why they were so meaningful to you. I remember I did a show at my friend's restaurant at the Mimo in North Jersey. And this table had come to see me. And I performed. I, did like an hour set of stand-up comedy. And the people came over to me afterwards and they said, oh my God, you were so funny. We had no idea. And I said, well, did you come tonight just by accident because you saw there was a comedian? They said, no, we follow you on social media. We found you through your words and phrases. And I said, did you not realize I was a stand-up comedian? They said, no. I said, then what were you coming here for? And they said, oh, we just figured you were going to do the words. And I said, you just thought I was going to stand on stage and be like, gagadels and, bachagaloop or what? And they said, yeah. I said, and you were going to come for that? And they were like, yeah. And I kind of realized it wasn't even stupid. It was just nostalgia. It was just people wanting to remember a time that was probably for some of us the best times, right? And I said, okay, I get it now. And that's why I tried to reinvent the words. I know a lot of people kind of caught on to what I was doing and started doing them too. But for me, I said, I don't like these videos still. I'm going to find other ways to do it. And I started going out on the street and doing thoroughbreds and asking people on the street if they knew what the words meant. And I love other people's meanings and other people's pronunciations of the words. And it kind of really triggered something in me when they started getting criticism at that point. Like at first I hated the positive comments, but then once people started criticizing it, it made me even more mad. Like, oh, these aren't real Italian. You're not real Italian. You're American. And I was like, hold up. It was not insulting to me. It was more like they were insulting the people that we missed so much. Like the people who said these words first to us. Yeah, I'm American. Of course I'm American. I said they were words and phrases I heard growing up in my New York Italian neighborhood because for the most part, they were Italian Americans. And for people to say I'm not Italian, of course, everybody, they're Egyptian Americans, like Irish Americans. But it doesn't mean you shouldn't be proud of where your family came from or how they interpreted words or how they made a recipe. So to sit here and bash each other online because I pronounce ubats like that instead of, pazzo, it's blows my mind. It's for people to say that we're making up words or we're fake or we're this. These are nostalgic for us. So I actually, from hating the videos, I started defending the videos, and then I found ways to do the words everywhere because I was so proud of it at that point. And I realized it wasn't about me anymore. It wasn't even about getting the followers or it was about being proud of where we came from and having the platform to represent all of us on it. And through that, I met so many. And when I say met, a lot of you reach out to me on social media. I reach out back. If you're getting a message from Tara Cannistraci on Tara Jokes or whatever my name is on social media, you're getting that message from me. If you said something negative, if you say something positive, if you have a question, I respond to you. Some people think it's crazy. Some people come to my shows, they go, I can't believe you responded to me on Instagram. I said, well, you were so nice. You were so supportive. Of course, I'm so grateful. At the end of the day, we're all people, right? Yeah, I have a bigger following now. Yes, it's harder to get to everybody's messages, but I do it. I set aside the time. I connect with you guys. Same reason why I'm doing this podcast. There are a lot of things I want to talk about in this podcast that I know you guys don't know about my personal life. And I kind of wanted to relate to you guys on a different level, which is why I started it. But so the long answer to Venetia's question is I started the Italian words and phrases video at a moment of, for lack of a better term, weakness, where I felt sad for a friend and then I kind of got nostalgic. And then I stuck with it for you guys so that you guys could feel nostalgic, so that you guys could remember, your family members who may no longer be with you that used to use those words, or for you to say, oh my God, I love that you still use those words. I still use those words with my kids and we're passing them on to, down to generations. And that's a beautiful thing. So I guess the morning message here on this Monday of Cawfee Talk is stay true to yourself. Stay true to who you are, where you came from. I was kind of embarrassed by the videos initially, because there's a lot of stigma to sounding a certain way, maybe not being educated or not being refined. And I didn't want that to be a reflection of who I was. And now I realize it's the best part of me. And it's the best part of you guys. And it's why I am so grateful that I even get this moment to have my cup of coffee with you guys. So that message is not for you. This is for the haters. And that's the vaffanculo for those who are listening and not watching. I hope you guys have a great day. And thank you for having this talk with me. Love you guys.
Cawfee Talk.